And this is America's Mayor Live. I begin with a very sad note. Following a night and day of sadness yesterday, today I lost my very good friend. New York lost one of its great police commissioners, one of its great fire commissioners. America lost one of its best members of federal law enforcement, certainly one of its most innovative. You'll be surprised at the things that he created. And Carol Safer lost a loving husband and his two wonderful children. I know them well, extraordinarily successful. He was very proud of them. They were very proud of him. Couldn't have created a better marriage or a better family than Howard and his family. And he's also survived, I believe, by his sister. But I've got to begin by telling you, if you get the New York Times tomorrow, if you do, burn it. Oh, don't burn it. Just rip it up. Burning it, you might create a fire. If I were sitting with you, and I knew you and you were one of my friends, I'd really tell you what to do with it. Which I will do when the show is over to my friends that are here, because that's what the New York Times is worth today. It's worth nothing. And the reporter who does it is a reporter who has a great, completely undeserved reputation, Clyde Haberman, who in all the time that he covered me, I don't think he ever wrote one truthful column. His daughter is Maggie Haberman, who, when she worked for the New York Post, had a very different political view than he did, and was kind of embarrassed of him, but now seems to do the same thing to Donald Trump. But in any event, he wrote a vicious editorial of a great man. He is a horrible newsman because he doesn't capture the man. He gets all worked up about the demonstrations that took place because of one or two police shootings that took place. He fails to mention the fact that in the 8 years that I was mayor, including his time as police commissioner, we never had a riot. In fact, the last riot in New York City was when we had the last Democratic mayor. And the next one was when we had the next Democratic mayor. Get the point? You think there'd be a riot in New York City with me? If you do, you don't know me. Could there have been a riot with Bratton? Yeah. Was Bratton really critical to what I did? Like hell he was. Every single police strategy that he takes credit for, I developed 20 years earlier, 10 years earlier, and wrote about 10 years earlier in the mayor's, in the Attorney General's report on violent crime, which is the basis for basically the CompStat program, using crime statistic strategically with tremendous help from somebody else who deserves the credit. The brains for Bratton, Eddie Maple. I mean, Bratton did the drinking and Maple did the thinking. And Maple was a very smart man. Would not have been able to develop CompStat the way I did without Eddie Maple. Could have done it in a flash without Biden, and could have done everything in a flash without Biden. He was okay, made a nice appearance. People think I got rid of him because he took too much credit. I didn't get rid of him because he took too much credit. I got rid of him because I found my conversations with him vapid. He isn't a smart man. And when Maple wasn't available, there wasn't much I could get done. Now, he was a darling of the press because he leaked like crazy. And he's a lefty like they are. So when I got rid of him, of course, they hated me. I was a Republican mayor. I had brought down crime by whatever it was by that time, 20%. And when Bratton left, they said Bratton left because Bratton realized the crime couldn't come down anymore. I mean, that dumb Republican Giuliani can't do shit. You want the proof that Bratton was kind of like a bit player? I reduced crime with two different police commissioners after that, more than Bratton. Much more. I actually reduced certain crimes, eliminated them, like car theft. The first narcotics strategy he brought to me was so infantile and silly, I threw him out of City Hall. So, I guess I'm getting old, and I want you all to know the truth, because the liberal press is not going to tell you the truth about me. Like I can see they're not going to tell you the truth about Howard Safir. Let me tell you who Howard Safir was. First of all, let's begin by saying that they begin this by saying he took over. I took over for David Dinkins, who had begun to reduce crime. That's a bunch of garbage. He did. He reduced crime for 1 year. The year I came in, murders were up. Yeah, he got it down for 1 year, 2%. What the hell are we going to do with a 2% reduction in crime when also they failed to tell you that Dinkins produced the most murders in the history of New York City for any mayor, anywhere, anytime. He also is responsible for the death of more black people than any mayor at any time, at any place in New York City. He also took bribes as a member of the Board of Estimate, which was covered up, including for Charlie Rangel, Percy Sutton, and a whole bunch of the black politicians who were supposed to fix Harlem, but took all the money intended for Harlem and left Harlem like hell, which is the way I found it, and the other black areas of the city. A 2% reduction in crime is a reduction in crime. I'm not even sure it was an accurate statistic. And then the year I took over, murder went up. The day I became mayor, crime went down. It never went up after that. I got it down under Bratton. When Safir replaced Bratton, people said he couldn't do it. He could make a fool out of himself. He was a Fed. Well, he wasn't just a Fed. He was a United States Marine. Just a Fed. You're always a United States Marine. Not only that, he was the deputy head of the Marshal Service. He was a Federal Bureau of Narcotics agent who saved his partner's life, shooting the person that was going to hurt his partner. Don't know that Bratton ever did that. He invented the witness protection program for organized crime. Do you know that? And when Geraldo Rivera, otherwise known as Jerry Rivers, said that Howard had lied, that people in the witness protection program didn't die, Jerry Rivers left out of the statement that he falsified that Howard Safir said that no one who followed the rules of the witness protection program had been harmed. When he ran it on whatever ridiculous network Jerry Rivers was on, Geraldo Rivera, that was his name in high school, I think, Howard sued him. Recovered 400, 800,000 because Jerry Rivers, Geraldo Rivera, lied. Surprised? See what a tough guy Howard was, though. Wasn't taking any shit from Jerry Rivers, who was about half his size. Howard ran the witness protection program. Without it, I don't think I'd have broken up organized crime or anybody else, any of the other organized crime groups. Howard Safir also took over a fugitive acquisition from the FBI. Great, tremendous furor over that. I made that decision as Associate Attorney General. FBI, maybe that's why they go after me now. I don't know. Not really. They eventually appreciated it because we had a great FBI director then. Do you know the first year that the Marshal Service got the fugitive assignment? They caught more fugitives in 1 year than the FBI had in 10. And it turned out to be a fabulous success under Howard Safir, this guy that Haberman maligns, who couldn't shine his shoes, by the way. Couldn't shine his shoes. Red-leaning Haberman couldn't shine his shoes. This piece of crap that they wrote would belong in 1619, the make-believe history that the New York Times has put out, that America was the first racist country or the first slave country when Slavery existed, God, before Rome, before Egypt, before the Bible. But the Times kind of missed that. Like they missed Howard's witness protection program, like they missed Howard's capture of some of the most significant fugitives, including, I think he was involved in Eichmann, if I'm not mistaken. He sure caught some great fugitives for me. I'll give you one that he caught. He caught Michael Daley's uncle, now a reporter for some crappy magazine who just recently wrote a lying article about me. They don't go away. His uncle was a policeman dealing drugs. He ran away when we caught him and his partners. I prosecuted the case personally. I won every case I prosecuted. I prosecuted his two partners, Novoa and Aguilas and Novoa. Convicted them both. Daley ran away to Ireland. He wasn't able to be extradited from Ireland because he was an Irish citizen. But he had a weakness. It's called sex. And he used to go to England every weekend, and he used to make love to a cleaning woman for a parish priest, Catholic parish priest. Howard, who was a genius law enforcement person, not displayed in this piece of crap, like that piece of crap. Every story in there today is probably garbage, like this one. Howard had it all set up. Guy visits the girlfriend. We miss him. We miss him. Howard's very disappointed. I'm in New York. Howard's in Washington at this point. Howard calls me again. He says, Rudy, I won't let you down next time. Next time he gets him. We get him. He goes to jail for 10 years. Think maybe his kid, cousin, whatever the hell he is, nephew, shouldn't be writing articles about me because I put his uncle in jail for 10 years and caught him, shacking up with his mistress in Ireland because I also outsmarted him with Howard Safer. They hate that when you outsmart them because they all think they're smart. You know something? These liberals, they may not be dumb. They may sometimes even be smarter, usually not. You know what you are if you're a conservative? You're a hell of a lot more disciplined. You actually reason, and you do research. They work on emotion. Like this guy, Haberman.
Well, Mayor, I will say the New York Post did write a nice article about him. I just read it.
So the New York Post loved
They wrote a lovely article about him.
No, I want him to read all the good ones, but I want him to know about all the bad ones too, including if it wasn't for Howard Safer, all this stuff. I'm not even going to go through the black stuff because Howard Safer did something they don't even bother to give him credit for. We had a terrible situation in this city with a man named Abner Lyin who was beaten up by police officers, and one police officer put a plunger up his backside. You know how quickly Howard Safer caught him? 3 days. Howard Safer called me at night in the summer. I've forgotten, probably June. See how good my memory is, June or July. Weimar shooting or attack. He said, Mayor, and he called me on the very, very secure phone. One actually that had been given to us by Louis Freeh, the FBI. Rarely called me on that, and I knew it was bad news. My son was coming to bat. I went to the phone in the outfield. Got on the phone, and Howard said, I got to meet you at Gracie Mansion immediately. He said, you're out in Brooklyn, right? He said, I think, and I'm up in the Bronx. Probably take us about the same amount. Of course, he was the police commissioner. He always knew where I was. Can you tell me on the phone? All I can tell you is it's very serious. It should be discussed in person, and you need to make an immediate decision. Well, Howard, okay, I'm on my way. I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to my son. I got hit with a home run. Not hit by my son, one of his teammates. Fabulous ball player, by the way. We got home. I walked in, and here's what happened. This guy, this cop, was obviously a maniac. I think it was a steroid sort of situation. He was a bodybuilder. Somehow he got into an altercation with Mr. Lyin, and Mr. Lyin decked him, which made the cop infuriated. The cop had him arrested. Cop just had him arrested. He took him into the bathroom, took a baseball bat, and he put it up his backside. It's unclear, although several other cops have been convicted for aiding and abetting. It's always been much less clear to me what they did. But Howard said to me, Mayor, I said, you know the rule we follow. We always presume innocence until proven guilty. He said, Mayor, this one I've got two cops who were scared out of their minds. They saw it happen. I can't put them out there right away, but I'm going to ask you for permission to do something. I could do this on my own, but you really are the head of the police department. I said, okay. And we're like this. I said, I want to transfer the entire police department, the entire police precinct. I want to put them in an interrogation room tomorrow morning, every single one of them. And I'm going to tell them if they don't tell me the truth, I'm either going to fire them, or if I can't fire them and I can't make a case on them, they're going to work in a job that they're going to hate for the rest of their lives. And I probably won't admit I said it. But I'm going to get this guy for you right away, because this can't happen. We can't have this happen in our police department. We're going to stop it right now. This is white supremacy. You want me to believe in white supremacy with this white Jewish guy telling me this, the first Jewish police commissioner? He didn't just tell me this. He went and he did it. Guy went to jail for 25 years. He's coming up for parole, and we're opposing it. Didn't happen again. No other cop did that. No cop got in trouble for testifying against him because they weren't ratting. They were doing their duty. A rotten cop is no different than a rotten president or a rotten reporter. If you're a liar, you're a liar. If you're a thief, you're a thief. If you're a pervert, like this guy, you're a pervert. And if you got a uniform on, you don't get any breaks. Now, this is the same one who had the Dorisman case. Guy shot 49 times. Oh, they were guilty. Jesse Jackson came to protest before they were ever convicted. They weren't presumed innocent. 49 times, they must be guilty. Jesse Jackson called up and had the arrogance. This is a guy who stole money for a living, including Jesse, if you'd like to, is he still alive? I don't remember. If he's still alive and he wants to sue me, and we'll start talking about inner city broadcasting, okay? And the $1 million you got for that. And the $1 million Dinkins got for that, and you covered up. You don't think I know that? You don't think I know what big crooks you and Rangel and all you guys who sold out the black people in Harlem are? You don't think I don't know what jerks these idiots are to have empowered you? You don't think I know why the black community is in the condition it's in for all these years? Because the money intended for it, you and your political colleagues stole. Now sue me. Everybody else is. Every single thing I told you is true, including about the wonderful Mr. Dinkins, who every cop on his detail couldn't stand because he was a prick and a crook. And he brought crime down by 2%. And then it went up. Murder did, the last year. He didn't help me bring crime down. The day he left, police department morale changed like this. I didn't call the guys on my detail buddy because they didn't know their names. I called them by their names. Some of them are personal friends to this day. And when the Dorisman case took place and they wanted me to string them up without a trial, I told them, no, I don't know if they're innocent or guilty, and I didn't. It wasn't like the Lyin case. We didn't have the inside facts. We had facts indicating a murder. We had facts indicating a legitimate shooting. We said, you know what we have for that? Oh boy, we have a trial. You know what the judge did? The judge moved the trial out of New York. We used to have fair judges then. We had judges who believed in a fair trial. Now you're going to tell me, oh, a whole bunch of whites in Albany. These police officers were acquitted unanimously on every single count with a jury with 4 blacks on it. And they wanted me to crucify them before they were convicted. And they were innocent, according to the law and according to a mixed race jury that wasn't jerked around by the New York press, the Washington, D.C. press. God, wouldn't it be great if we could get that now, huh? We could go back to an America that had justice. We do not have justice. A 2-tiered justice system is a contradiction, ladies and gentlemen. 2-tiered justice means no justice. It's equal justice for all. You remember that. He doesn't. He wouldn't know what the hell it meant. It would get in the way of his liberal insanity, his Trump derangement syndrome. Howard Safer, I might also point out to you, for all the questions, oh, could he do as good a job? Could he do as good a job as Bill Bratton? Maybe Bratton going to Elaine's every night and getting drunk actually helped. Well, let me tell you, he reduced crime a way hell of a lot more than Bratton. Way more. He saved a lot more black lives than Bratton did. He put in more programs than Bratton has the mental capacity to even think about. You know where you see courtesy, professionalism, and respect on the New York City police car? He put it there. But that wasn't just that. That's a program in the police academy. You know how much he brought down complaints? About 5 times more than Bratton. What he didn't do is kiss the backsides of the press. He didn't illegally leak. So when the press likes a cop, he's probably a bad cop and if they like one of my assistant U.S. attorneys, they were gone. I'm not stupid. I know why you like them. You like them because they give you illegal grand jury information, like every single one of these special prosecutors, these special Nazi prosecutors that have been put on to go after our ex-president. From the day I began representing him, I knew every damn leak they made, and I knew every reporter they leaked to. They were committing crimes. Press didn't give a damn. How do you trust a prosecutor who does that? How do you trust Forney Willis for doing an indictment before the grand jury votes the indictment? If you live in a nation of laws, don't you take that indictment and go like this? Fanny, this is what we do with your indictment, see? And here's what we do with you. We restore Giuliani to practicing law, and we throw you out. That's what we do. But not in Biden's America. Not in Biden's America. So Howard, there's so much more, and over the next couple of days, we're going to talk about Boyce and how you got him, and how you were involved in the Falcon and the Snowman, how we stopped the serial killing. Remember that? You remember it, Howard. I know where you are now. You remember it.
The Falcon and the Snowman?
Yeah, the great Movie. He was part of that.
Okay, well, we'll definitely have to revisit this. And
This is
maybe
a man.
talk more
This is a
about-
man who created numerous, and I wish I had them all here with me. He created numerous. Bernie is probably calling me to give me details about Howard's funeral, because we want to make sure that this crooked Democratic city, which would never have a plaque for me or him, or even though I'm willing to proclaim that I was the most successful mayor in the history of the city. Want to argue with me, you can. Which would you like to argue about? Who brought down crime more? Nobody. Who brought down welfare more? Nobody even close. Who increased the population of the city more? Well, certainly in the 20th century, me. Who decreased it the most? Dinkins and this idiot we have there right now, the nitwit that Mayor Bloomberg applauded yesterday. Now there's a real joke. Adams caused the 100,000 illegals in the city. He invited them here. Is Biden really responsible? Of course. Biden has opened the doors to the city, to the country. And our mayor doesn't have the guts to stand up to Biden, which makes him a non-mayor, right? When you don't have guts, you shouldn't be a mayor. You should be, I don't know, a teacher? What should you be if you don't have guts? A member of the Communist Teachers Union, not a real teacher. That's what you should be. Or a Democrat, because Democrats don't have guts because they let a completely deficient mind operate in the White House, which now I think is time to take a look at. But let's take a short break first, and then we will watch the further deterioration of the few brains that Joseph Biden has left. Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now. Teachers Union and U.S. Open is known as the U.S. Pot Open.
Well, welcome back, and you caught us Mayor's going through the second half of a jam-packed show. So, Mayor, of course, you wanted to talk about...
Well, I used up a lot of energy, which means... You know what it means. Come on, guys, say it all at once. Heart of nature. Balance of nature.
Promo code Rudy. 35%
Promo code Rudy,
off.
35% off the biggies.
That's right.
$25 off the smallies.
At checkout.
And by doing this and getting Balance of Nature,
Vegetables.
you're not only helping your body out, but you're supporting everything we're doing here on
Fruits.
America's
Fruits.
A Mayor Alive.
I didn't have any today.
They pack dozens of fruits and vegetables into those little pills, and you just have to take 2 of each.
Okay, so you know what? Because I was tired from yesterday. Yesterday was exhausting, probably emotionally exhausting. I had 2, 4, 6 of each today. Because I remember Dr. Howard said, on special days like that, you should go a little extra. So here they are. I think you should get the bottles just for decorations, I tell you the truth. Look at it. Look how nice these look. Look.
Mayor, don't give our idea away about the
We get
holidays.
it. I
Come on,
did
come on,
already.
come
I
on,
know.
come on,
We're
Mayor.
gonna get a
I'm trying to
store.
make money.
We're gonna get a store present.
All right.
You know something? I don't think the colors are showing up as good as they are. What do the colors look like on Getter people? Tell us what the colors look like.
Mayor, they look vibrant.
I don't know if colors sell things. You should buy this for your health.
It's all about the packaging. 100%.
The packaging works.
Yeah. I fall for it.
Don't you think this does? These are great. This is great packaging. You know what I want to do with these?
It's like Christmas.
I want to make Christmas ornaments. Put a little hole in the top. Christmas ornaments. I'm not.
This is patented, people. Do not steal this idea. You will be sued.
Okay, well, send a letter.
Okay. All right.
Oh, push in our microphone there. Yeah, I'm thinking of a new microphone. You know, do you know I work on technology? That's why it's all screwed up. So get your balance of nature.com, promo code Rudy, 35%. That's a lot off this. I still have many of these. And I'm soon getting some more of these because I tend to have about 12 of these by the time we get to Christmas.
Right.
Because I may even take the first one I do and use it as a promo. I'm thinking about that, Ted. See, I'm getting mercenary.
What's that?
I may use one of these as a promo.
Yeah.
So now we have two really excellent guests here, and I'm gonna let them decide and let Ted, because I can't decide. I couldn't possibly decide between.
Well, Mayor, real quick.
I'm gonna let Ted decide which one and what topic. But now I'm very comfortable with that because you're gonna find out something. Both of these reporters, journalists, women are completely familiar with every one of these subjects.
Right. Well, Mayor, while we're getting set up, while the
You
break,
wanna-
while the break was
You
yesterday,
want to break in, Mike?
you had an emotional long day yesterday, and real quick, we wanted to talk about how Biden swapped prisoners with Iran on 9/11 and gave them $6 million.
In other words,
It's
words-
sickening.
he paid a ransom.
He paid a ransom to Iran.
Like Jefferson said we never would do.
Right.
So once again, he's a traitor.
Yes.
Once again, he's a president who dishonors the United States of America. This is the same president who left people behind in Afghanistan, who looked at his watch when the 13 people he had killed in Afghanistan came back and their families were there, who lied to the families and told them that his son, Beau Biden, died in action when his son died in a hospital bed in Maryland.
Right.
This is a decrepit, evil man.
Yes, he is.
And this was a very good man who saved many, many lives.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, disproportionately black lives. And you know something? Even with these creeps like Dinkins and Sharpton, and you notice all the black people that come up to me to talk about what my police commissioners did? You noticed that, don't you, Ted?
Absolutely. They thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to take pictures of that because I don't think people believe it.
And I want to take videos of it, but it's
Come on
like,
in closer. We'll
all
make
right,
room.
move on over a little bit, Mayor, if you can, and I'll center the screen here.
And we
We got the printer working. I see.
got Caitlin. We could not have our printer was not working. Caitlin came in like
Brought
magic,
the energy.
like magic.
So we have.
I have
a
a feeling.
Funny, I thought I fixed it.
I have a feeling. I hope this
You're
is
kidding
not.
yourself. It was all me.
I hope this is not considered inappropriate. But I have a feeling that our printer is male, and it saw Caitlin and said, "I'm working. I'm working." I want to impress her.
Caitlin, of course, one of the best to do it, a journalist with One America News. The mayor knows One America News quite well. And maybe Caitlin wants to give us an update on kind of what she's been up to, especially our audience. We haven't seen you in a while,
But
Caitlin.
now we get you again, and we get you again. We're going to have her on for the advertisement. We get
Okay.
you again
Oh.
because of our new. What is the term of art for QUX?
It's basically
What would you call it?
I would call it like a standalone cable box, maybe.
The cable box.
Okay.
So we have this new cable box called QUX, which is completely encoded, so nobody can see what we're looking at.
So we're back. We're back.
Right. So in other words, they can't see that. Like today, I don't know. I must have bought something with a hammer, and I got about 13 hammers came across on Amazon. All kinds of hammers. I've got a little hammer this big. Give me a hammer like this. This doesn't happen with that. Plus, whoever we had here, who do we have here? What creepy left-wing communist supplier do we have here? Spectrum?
I think you have FiOS.
Comcast?
They're all creepy.
Well, they knocked off OAN.
Yeah.
They're on QUX.
Verizon killed my
We haven't yet.
Verizon, DirecTV.
We got
Yep.
it on QUX now.
All right.
And we get great, and I got him one, and I'm getting lots of people one. And very soon, has the ad come up yet? In a little while, the ad will come up, and you can get one. QUX, promo code Rudy, of course.
QUX.TV.
And
.tv.
and we'll keep Caitlin around for that.
And you know something?
Got to keep.
We should do an ad with her. Because, I mean, if I would buy QUX if I knew she were on.
I don't.
What's my commission?
We'll get your commission. I'll talk,
You
I'll talk
hear
to
this,
the
Todd?
owners.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, yeah,
Work the numbers,
we'll
please.
we'll get you something.
Kate-
Okay.
Caitlin-
So tell us what's going on.
Well, it was back to school last week.
Mm-hmm.
And these teachers are overwhelmed, as you
Right.
know. They don't have the resources, as our mayor has actually come out and said. He's begging for mercy now. This is the same mayor, of course, that welcomed these migrants to the city. So the teachers don't have the resources. The DOE sent out a letter to these teachers of the public schools, basically saying you're on your own. You're on your own to figure out the language barrier. You're on your own to get the additional supplies that are needed for the extra migrant students. And if you saw, Mayor, there were actually students that were turned away. These were migrants and non-migrant students that were turned away because the lines were just out the door at these public schools. I mean, it was just stunning, like nothing.
So the children of American citizens
That's right.
and permanent legal resident aliens were turned away because the cartels sent these people into America.
Yes.
You know, this is the thing that Adams is either too dumb or he purposely ignores. The people coming here today are different than the people that used to come here. They are selected by the cartels
You'll never hear him mention that, of course.
because he never went down to look. Of course, he never went down to look. Now, how stupid are you to say 2 years ago you can all come here? We're going to give you health insurance. Mm-hmm. We're going to give you
Free cell phones,
free education,
free meals.
free cell phones. You didn't get that in other cities. You didn't get free cell phones in other cities. You know, New York is selected 7 out of 10 times when they get a free choice because of his advertising. It's Adams' advertising. De Blasio didn't do that. Now, nobody disliked de Blasio more than me. Bernie and I have concluded he's a worse mayor. I'll tell you why. We didn't have these 100,000 under de
Yeah.
Blasio. And we don't know how dangerous they are. I mean, he sends 30 of them up to Buffalo. In 4 hours, they raped 2 people.
So now
He's
you
got
have
47 crimes at the Roosevelt already that they don't tell you about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Have we've heard from whistleblowers that have worked at these hotels that the conditions are dangerous. These migrants aren't grateful. Mayor, they're complaining about the food that we're giving them. I mean, if I complained at the dinner table, it was get what you get.
But your family.
Yeah, you don't get upset. My mom put whatever in front of me and I had to eat it or you go hungry. But these migrants, I guess they're allowed to make special requests.
Right.
But you have to ask yourself, after the nightmare we saw last Thursday, first day of school, what kind of education are our kids getting? What kind of education are the New York citizens getting when we're already at record lows when it comes to math, reading, and writing? And this all comes after the COVID pandemic, where our students were ignored. Again, record lows we're talking about. I can't even imagine how we compare to the rest of the country, let alone the rest of the world. So what kind of education are these kids possibly getting?
Well, you know, in a book that I'm not going to mention because I don't want you to buy it because it's a suck-up book by a left-wing, silly, not terribly good writer, reporter, but he slips a little. And he relays a whole situation in which Jill Biden and Joe Biden meet with Randy Weingarten and the other
Lovely Randy.
communist with the National Education Association, and they agree to give them access to the CDC. And the CDC changes its guidance and puts off a whole year of school. And Jill promised them that when they were running. And the report and the creepy reporter, whose book nobody should
We
buy,
won't mention.
should reports it. I would think. I don't know how he did it. I don't know why he put it in there. Maybe he's stupid. But it's just a straight layout of a conspiracy between the two communists, the Bidens, one less year of school for our kids in public schools. Now, the kids in Catholic school and the kids in some private schools didn't lose that 30% in math and education because they had the year.
Right. You know what's interesting? Some of these elite private school parents, though, are also starting to get annoyed. And now you see the lines start to blur between right versus left when you see these migrants showing up in school gymnasiums on their doorsteps, interfering with their little bougie life over there. So now their mama bears are getting mad all of a sudden.
Yeah,
so
yeah. They didn't. They're not paying $60,000 to have them with a bunch of kids from Venezuela who can't speak, can't write, can't read, and whose fathers are drug dealers. Right?
Right, exactly. So it's interesting now that these issues aren't red versus blue anymore. When you upset mama bears, I always say this, Carrie Lake says this very well. When you upset the mama bears and you upset the parents, that's when real change starts to happen.
I think that's right. And I think that's going to be a big factor in this election that is going to get it's going to get even more pointed because the Democrats have no place to go. If they lose the teachers union, they lose the election because the teachers union are the best organizing force for them and they cheat like hell.
And you heard from the candidate that I've heard New Yorkers say is so refreshing, and this is, again, coming from the left, the right, is Vivek Ramaswamy. He has promised to take down the teachers union, and he has really refreshing ideas. He should.
He should run for mayor.
He should.
Boy, I would do anything.
He's young enough, too, where that would be a good
to support him. Taking down the teachers union is the only way to save education for our children, because education is, I know there are people that still go back to the McCarthy era and they worry about that. I'm going to tell you this and you can just trust me. This has been part of the communist conspiracy to take over this country for 100 years. The teachers union was organized by the original Soviet Communist Party. It's like this.
Yep.
They are communists. I know Randy. I negotiated against it. Really against it.
What does it take to take down Randy Weingarten? I mean, it's how many folks have tried before?
I would think of an enormously strong public effort, because I think publicly, if she ever ran in an election, she's a horribly unpleasant person and would be a terrible candidate. She would get killed. She's not a politician. She's a Marxist organizer and a liar. And she did. Among all the worst things she ever did to our kids, what she did during COVID is unforgivable. What she did, but I have said for years that the teachers union is not about the kids. It's about the employees. The entire Board of Education is not about the kids. It's a board to protect the jobs of the people who are in the education system. The Board of Education is useless. You could do away with the complete.
So, Mayor, what about the long-lasting effects of this crisis now? I mean, these kids are now in the school system.
It'll never be repaired. These kids will carry this unless they do their own remedial work, and some of them will, because some kids are self-starters and some parents are self-starters, but not most. These kids, you're going to have to sadly say, have been irreparably damaged. You can't make up 2 years of education except under very extraordinary circumstances and with a very extraordinary kid.
Yeah.
And most kids are not extraordinary, unfortunately. And
not in the States.
Yeah, and not in the public school system. I mean, they don't want to work hard enough. Nobody wants to work anymore. I mean, look, we got 10 million people out of the workforce. And these total morons want to get jobs for the migrants, so more migrants will come here, because if they get jobs, they can vote. According to the ridiculous law passed by the New York City Council that allows, can you believe this, non-citizens to vote? Now, that'll be unconstitutional.
I wish we could say that was shocking, but
I hope. I mean, I thought things were unconstitutional that
I think the mayor said he doesn't agree with that actually about the migrants
goes
voting.
back and forth.
Yeah, he goes.
He just went.
Right.
He just went back.
Oh, he went back. To, he
The
does
same,
agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
The flip and switch
Because I
here.
remember when he was running, he said that he will absolutely not.
So the mayor
let that
wants to
happen.
do everything to hold down the number of people that coming here, but then he wants more jobs,
Right.
which will mean
Yeah.
more people will come here.
The
In fact,
plan's obvious to those paying attention.
every one of these inferior intellect Democrats want that. They all want jobs for the people coming.
I think Mayor Nightlife, as I call him, just says whatever's cool in the moment. So I don't know. We'll have to catch him on the heels of New York Fashion Week when he's done partying and see where he really stands on all of this.
So now we're going to play QUX while we have our best advertisement for QUX sitting right next to me. You
And
can
of
get to
course-
see her.
And but we also want to thank. But we also want to thank Caitlin for joining us. We'll have her again real soon, and
We'll get next
we'll want
time-
some more updates. And
We want to
continue
phone
follow
anytime.
Caitlin.
We got to get a number for when our.
Oh, okay. I'll see if I can ask for it.
Okay, all right. I don't.
The year is 2022. Cancel culture is the new normal. Online freedom as we know it has ended. Digital stockades are here. All activity is monitored, stored, and predictively analyzed by a technological cartel. We're being converted into a digital resource, a digital currency to be farmed for metadata and loaded into a computerized combine, blockchained to a social engineering operating system. However, it doesn't have to be this way. Be part of a new technological revolution. Right now, 1,000 test pilots have launched themselves into a new digital frontier, a private network outside of big tech control. New technology with state-of-the-art digital engagement and never-done-before security and privacy features that are now operational. With Quick's digital engagement, entertainment, communication, and commercial exchange will never be the same. We are QUX. Quicks. Advanced pre-release sales are limited to 3,000. Order now by visiting quicks.tv. Get yours now before they sell out. Be part of a brand new online experience that you control.
So we have with us Justine Murray. Justine is a news person. Justine has been on many times, has written many challenging articles about particularly our woke society and generation. And I have her on because she's going to keep me calm. And the Valium is over there too. I'm not sure I can report this. I may need you guys to help me. Biden has, as you know, has gotten me angry many times. When he got all the people killed in Afghanistan, I truly, this crap book ends with how good it was that we had an elderly president because of the war in Ukraine. If we didn't have this elderly president, does this half-wit moron who wrote the book know we wouldn't have a war in Ukraine? Does this idiot fool? Let me see if I can show you a little of the book.
Don't show them.
No, I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you any of it that you can see.
Oh boy.
This is the book.
Hold it up. Don't hold it up.
No,
Give
see,
them the
it's big.
satisfaction.
It's big. You don't want to read all that shit. do you?
No.
Big words, so come on.
But I'm going to read the end. I'm not going to read the end. I'm going
Man,
to.
we can't return it now.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to tell. I'm not going to return. I'm going to burn. I'm not going to burn it either. I'm
Okay.
going to write little notes on the side like, you must have gone to a teachers union school or something like that. Every grammatical mistake I'm going to correct. Too bad my mother isn't alive. She was fabulous.
Use
at
it
that.
as toilet paper.
Toilet paper. That'd be. If we get another COVID, we'll need it. If we get another, but I have plenty of New York Times for that. So Biden. Well, let's play Biden saying this yesterday, and I'm going to tell you, I heard this at WABC studio, sitting on the Greg Kelly show, waiting to go on. I was on as an extra guest with Greg, and then I was going to go into my show. And Greg played this, and he looked at me like if I would remember. But go ahead, play it.
Ground Zero in New York, and I remember standing there the next day and looking at the building. I felt like I was looking through the gates of hell. It looked so devastating because from where you could stand. Ground Zero in New York, and I remember standing there the next day and looking at the building. I felt like I was looking through the gates of hell. It looked so devastating because from where you could stand.
So not only did he say he was at Ground Zero on the day after, but he elaborated with this. I was looking through the gates of hell. Now here, show the next one. Here's where he was on September the 12th, 2001.
Look at the upper left-hand corner of the screen here. Well, you should be able to tell just by looking at where then Senator Biden was.
This dastardly act, they may have done what no other group of people could possibly have done, and that is unite the civilized world.
One back.
Okay. Now his book also says he was in Washington that day. So Greg turned to me and asked me if I remembered if he was in New York on the day after, because obviously I was in New York on the day after. And honestly, for the life of me, I couldn't remember him being in New York. I don't remember being in New York at all after September 11. Now, he could have been, but I have to honestly, and this is not meant as a snide comment, it's meant as a statement of fact. I'd have paid very little attention to him. I didn't have time. I didn't have time for stupid people. And to me, he is the dumbest man in Congress. So unless I needed something from him and had to play him, I wouldn't pay attention to him. I wouldn't have gone to him like I did to some senators and congressmen or to Rumsfeld and asked for advice. God almighty, advice, the only advice I had for him was to find the nearest nursing home. His niece worked for me, so I knew him, and I knew how stupid he was. But I didn't remember him being there, and I almost was willing to say he wasn't there, because you can count on the fact that if you think he's lying, he is, since he's been 12. And but then we waited, and of course he was lying. Now, you have to be one miserable, horrible, disgusting human being to lie about something like that and to use that gates of hell thing to play on the emotions of people, not dissimilar to what he did to the people that the families of the people that he got killed in Afghanistan when he looked at his watch. And he told them that his child died in action, which was a complete, absolute lie, which they knew was a lie, which is like stabbing him in the heart. I have come to the unequivocal conclusion that no one will talk me out of, that he is beyond the biggest crook we had in the White House, beyond the biggest liar we have in the White House. He's the most evil man we ever had. He's an evil human being.
Well, the thing is that 1/3 of Americans were born after 9/11, yet they probably have a better memory of 9/11, even though they weren't born yet, than Joe Biden apparently has. Because unless he has a teleportation device where he happened to just be everywhere that day. Maybe he was in outer space looking at it from
I would, the current Biden right now today, who knows what he knows. There's almost nothing left of his brain. But the point that I'm trying to make is when he was 22 years old, he didn't have much of a brain. Right. The guy was left back in the 3rd grade. I mean, he plagiarized his way through law school, just lied his way through law school. I knew his law school classmate who now would probably lie about it because he sucks up to him now. But he told it to me directly, and then a lot of other ones told me. And then, of course, I got my own chance to measure his intellect by talking to him and realizing I don't think I know a dumber person than that. And you don't need me. You go to Gates, his co-cabinet member, who tells you he never got a decision right on foreign policy, which he has continued without error as president. Yeah. Now, you look at the people in Ukraine, they'd all be alive if it wasn't for him. I want you to consider the following. Putin attacked 3 times in the last little over a decade. One time, Bush was the president. He took a good look at Bush. He said he's tired. He had his big shot. Everybody's angry at him. He's no Reagan. I'm going to attack Georgia. He's right. He took a good look at Obama and he said, Obama may give me money if I do it. He gives money to Iran and they kill people. He gives cash to Iran so they can get it to terrorists. So Obama, I'm not going to worry. And what did he do? He put down the red line 12 times on Assad and said, if you use chemical weapons, I'm going to bomb you, and he never did. So Putin looks at him and he says, man, I got a big sissy there. Let me push this sissy all around the world. And then Biden had to be a dream come true. Had to be a dream come true. Biden didn't even want to kill bin Laden. Biden announced 44 times before Putin invaded, I'm not going to use troops, I'm not going to use troops, I'm not going to use troops, I won't use troops, I promise. I won't use troops. Please, don't make me have to make a choice about with no troops.
He's like
By that time,
himself.
Putin said, I better attack because this guy's going to die.
Yeah, it was.
If I don't attack, he's going to get so nervous he's going to die. So he attacked, took over the rest of Ukraine that he's got now. Now, I'm missing a president, aren't I, in there? We got 3 attacks. But he's had 4 presidents in there. There was one kind of right in the middle. His name was Donald J. Trump. Did he attack?
Nope.
Did he even come close to attacking?
Nope.
Did he threaten an attack?
Nope. There you go.
Now, what do you want me to do to prove it to you? Trump can tell you what he said to him. Trump said to him, you attack, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, bomb Moscow. And then he was asked, did he believe you? And Trump said something brilliant.
Wait a minute, guys. You mean to tell me that our foreign adversaries aren't afraid of this guy?
Thank you, everybody. This ends the press conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Are you bringing U.S. strategic interests above the rights here in Vietnam?
I've raised it with every person I've met with.
Mr. President, are you worried about your son being indicted, Mr. President?
Time for bed one?
No.
Do we have that one?
Yeah.
But the point that I wanted to make is that when Trump told Putin, I'll attack Moscow, the reporter asked him, I think it was Tucker, did he believe you? He said 10%. You realize how brilliant that is? That's Reagan. All I got to do is stick it in your head. I got to get in your head. Now, you can't get in Biden's head because there's no head. And he can't get into your head because he doesn't have a brain. So we're completely lost. But it's no joke because here's the simple fact, and it is, I think, completely impossible to refute it. Every one of those Ukrainians would be alive today if Trump had been the president. Had they not cheated in that election, every single one of them would be alive today because he would never have invaded Ukraine.
Mr. Mayor, what do you think now, the fact that President Biden didn't even visit one of the terror sites on 9/11, how is the world looking at us now? because I mean, this was the biggest attack on U.S. soil. And I personally think that one of the reasons President Biden is lying about supposedly being at the terror sites on the day of 9/11 in 2001 is that he seems to maybe want to cover up, or his advisors they want to help him cover up the fact that he really doesn't care about 9/11 or the anniversary, and that the Democrats for 22 years now have been trying harder and harder to kind of push down 9/11, to diminish 9/11 as some little blip in U.S. history.
They're absolutely trying to do that. They've been doing that for years. De Blasio was trying to do that. He's a communist. I mean, he's an acknowledged communist. Fought for the Sandinistas. His mother was a communist. I would say they want to forget 9/11 because they want the Islamic terrorists to be part of the one world with them and the communists. Now, they're going to have a real trouble there because there's going to be a rupture between the communists and the Islamic terrorists. You can see it in southern Russia, largely on the religion issue, because communism can't abide their religious fanaticism. I mean, first of all, they can't abide the normal Muslim.
Yep.
To communists, Muhammad's no different than the God of Abraham or Jesus Christ, and that's why you've had slaughters in Ossetia and places like that. I visited with Putin a couple of days after the attacks in Ossetia. He's just one cold-blooded murderer. But man, I could have dealt with him. I've dealt with cold-blooded murderers. You think Biden ever dealt with a cold-blooded murderer?
You took down the mafia.
Yeah, I used to watch Obama, and I know Putin not well, but I know him. I know Obama. I used to watch Obama and Putin talk, and I could almost read Putin's mind. So what the hell am I doing with this? How did they ever elect this asshole?
Was he confused? Like,
They get
to pick their leader, and they pick this guy?
They sent me this stupid social organizer.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy became head of the law review by not writing an article.
There is a story.
I mean,
behind that.
I don't know affirmative action. Jesus Christ, I helped to create it in your country. You don't think it was a part of the communist agenda?
Oh yeah, those riots in Detroit in the 60s.
Come on.
How many Russians were there?
They've been using race as part of the communist agenda since they realized that class wouldn't work. That's how we end up with critical race theory. It's a communist theory written by two communists. Now, let's do a little lesson plan. I want you to go over there, and I have a question for people. You got to look on my special screen, though.
Yeah, I'm bringing it.
What do these people, you got to get it the right way, though. It says, what do these people have in common? But I don't think you can see it. What do these people have in common? Okay, now I'm going to show you the people.
Turn the picture, man.
Turn the picture? Okay.
Yeah, turn straight, man.
Okay. You got all my people here?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
You see them?
Yes, sir.
You see all those people?
We sure do.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Now, I want you to know what they have in common. One of them is none of them. Some of them have in common destroying the New York City that I helped to make the greatest city in the world. That's what they have in common. Some of them do. Not all of them, though. Others have ruined the country. But here are things that they definitely have in common that I've checked off. None of them, although they were standing way in front of the people who sacrificed on September 11, none of them had a damn thing to do with September 11. Not a single one. They're on September 11? Absolutely not. Do they support sanctuary cities? 100%. In fact, one of them supports Uber sanctuary city. That's Adam. Uber sanctuary city is sanctuary city with bonuses, meaning extra health care, college education, schools, and better housing than veterans. And they all refuse to close our border so that anybody selected by the cartels can come in to the country. So they are known as the terrorist fentanyl enablers, every single one of them. Every single one of those people enables the death of Americans by refusing to stand up to the nitwit in chief and say, close the damn border or we're going to close your brain, nitwit.
He has no brain to close, man.
Close the damn border or we're going to impeach you for violating your oath as president of the United States. Close the damn border because we're going to remove you under the 25th Amendment because you are imperiling the lives of our citizens because you are without a brain.
If only they had to deal with the consequences that everyone else in the city has to deal with. They don't, because they're up there in their ivory towers. They're allowing all this legislation. They're allowing the illegals to flood in. And they do it in the name of being morally superior. They can afford to be morally superior because their kids are not going to be the ones getting pushed on the subways or
All their kids go to private school.
Exactly.
The damn head of the teachers union in Chicago is a communist in chief and attacks private schools as racist, has her kid in private schools. I mean, they get away with it here. I'll bring this up a little tighter because I want to identify these people so you know who your enemies are. Where do I put it? Right here? You show me where to put it.
Hold it up a little bit.
Okay.
There you go.
So this one right here, this is the biggest liar in America. His name is Mayorkas. He says the border is secure. All you have to do is look at one of a million pictures and you can see that he is a massive liar to the point of being a traitor. He should have been impeached a long, long time ago, and it's a discredit to our Republican Congress that we haven't done it. It means we're sissies. This is our new police commissioner. I don't know if he's looking for his gun or what the hell he's doing, but he's gonna have no chance with this jackass here. Because this jackass doesn't know a damn thing about policing. He was a make-believe cop who caused trouble all the time and never made I've still yet to ask for an arrest that this idiot made as a cop. And that's what they're supposed to do, not cause trouble. I don't know who that is. Who is that? Some communist. Who's this? The woman person.
I don't know.
But another communist. Now, this was my successor. We're going to get to that in a minute. My successor had wonderful words of praise for this mayor right here. We're going to get back to that in a minute. The one next to the mayor is the border czar. Well, we know what a complete lack of success she is, since the border czar holds the record for the most people coming over the border in the history of the United States under any president, Republican, Democrat, sane or insane. I don't know if she encourages them to come in, but she also has completely stopped any kind of vetting at the border. Yeah. So we don't know who comes in. And we try to prevent Governor Abbott from stopping them from coming in. The one next to her is the half-wit governor of our state, who all she's interested in is getting the bribe money that she's due for the Buffalo Stadium and for the test that she put out and that she sold for $600 million, that California bought for $300 million. And it just so happened that the company that paid the extra got the extra $300 million, gave her a $300 million campaign contribution, and they want to put me in jail, not her. I didn't get $300 million for a bribe. She did. They want to put me in jail and Trump. There's the criminal right there. See? Fannie, right there.
Well,
she took a $300 million illegal campaign contribution. She paid him $300,000 more to the penny for the same thing as California. And then the $300,000 came to her. Jesus, unsuspend me for 4 weeks and I'll convict her. I won't even prepare for the case. I'll do it off the top of my head. I don't know who this guy is. I think he's looking for his heart because he doesn't have any here.
That's not Murphy?
Oh, no, this is the worst governor in the history of America, Murphy, here, who possibly killed more old people than Cuomo. So that's the crew we have here. And
lovely.
Mayor, I'm a little confused right now. Why is Mike Bloomberg there
He wasn't there on 9/11.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why is he standing in front when he literally had nothing to do with the efforts to clean up 9/11?
Well, he did afterwards. I mean,
after
after
you.
there. I
But
mean-
you were the guy.
he always took over after I fixed everything.
But that's what I'm saying. You were there. You were in the dust.
I'm the one who
pushing-
almost died, not him.
When the buildings collapsed, you were down there with the
He'd have
citizens
probably
of
had
New
a
York.
better chance. Look how small he is.
These are politicians. Come on, you know exactly why they're
None
all
of these
running.
people-
You know exactly why they're the
Well,
ones
the
pushing
thing
to
that's
be in the front.
disgusting about him is how he praised the mayor who caused the whole thing, which only exacerbates it because none of them, this whole
the
group
current
of
migrant
useless
crisis.
communists, and I think he may have become a communist now too. He switched being a Republican.
The thing is that they're all standing there, pretending to care about 9/11.
Before that, they were giggling, they were laughing. I think I'm not sure I had already left, but Bernie wanted to leave when he saw the Lyin Mayorkas. I talked Bernie into staying, and Dr. Maria too. But then when I heard cackle here, laughing with this one, with Nitwit, I had to leave. I said, I can't. This is like a sacrilege.
Yeah.
To be here with these people. They're ruining my country. They're getting people killed in my country. I know it, and I'm standing here. Yeah. It sounds like I'm endorsing it. Look at the last picture there. You'll see the look on my face. That's when I was trying to make the decision whether to stay or not. Bernie is not in the picture. God forbid they should show him. He only almost lost his life on September 11. I don't know where the governor was. Probably preparing his plan for killing old people.
Well, Mayor, you know what else is sickening about that picture of communists? Not one of them have the balls to run into the towers if it happened again. They would all run away. And you know what? I know you would if you were mayor. They would not. They would run.
Yeah.
They would run.
Well, he did that day, and
Right.
while you can never know for sure what
I don't know what
someone
they
would do.
I don't know what they have done that day, but they sure have killed an awful lot of Americans. Oh, and in the background is the Trump hunter, Patricia. What's her name? Patricia James or
Letitia.
James? The Trump hunter.
Tish James.
That's
Tish.
the only thing she. The only thing
Super cool.
she ran on. I'm gonna get Trump. I'm gonna get Trump, which should have gotten her disbarred, but I got disbarred. Look, there she is. You see a little face there, right there.
When conservatives hopefully get back in office again, if the election isn't crooked, that we need to use lawfare against these Democrats just like the way they've used lawfare against us. I mean, I believe in an eye for an eye, straight from the Torah. So we can't.
the mayor might agree with that. He's
Look at the-
he's a Catholic.
No
I want you
threats
to
on the mayor's
see the. I
show.
want you to see the look on my face.
Legally, not physically.
There you go.
have
Thanks for
to put that
I
clarifying.
want you to
Disclaimer.
take a look at the
Yeah.
look on my face. That's a look of disgust, derision.
Mayor, is that AOC behind you? Jesus
Oh, I saw that.
Christ.
They're
Why? Did you know her
Shonda.
mug was behind you?
Just hold this up for me. Just I don't know the mayor would want to do that.
I see her.
Hold
This
that
is
up.
the
Guys, I
mayor?
want to speak. Yeah. So
Okay, that's
this
without.
picture.
This is without AOC. Good.
Thank God.
No. I took this picture.
the true
That was
hero.
earlier.
I want and it says a lot about the mayor, right? As you guys can see. Look, I wasn't there right when they were there, but when I arrived at the memorial yesterday, a lot of these folks are up there, like the mayor said, they're yakking, they're talking as if they're at some function, just another event,
It's like
right?
school assembly.
The mayor, meanwhile, I couldn't even talk to him yesterday morning, right? And you could just tell he wasn't there to hobnob. He wasn't there to be seen. He didn't push his way to the front. I mean, I will say people were very respectful from what I could see, but he's not pushing his way to the front. Meanwhile, some of these politicians, I'm not going to say all, but some of these politicians, that's all they were there for.
Yeah.
They wanted to be
before you
obsessed
got
with their
before you got to me,
Yeah.
there wasn't a single person that was there on September 11 trying to help anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now some couldn't have been, some could have been.
Yeah, I don't.
But what the hell are they doing there? Now everybody that was there was off camera. Tommy,
Bingo.
like
Tom.
like Bernie Kerik, who almost died, like Tom Van Essen, who almost died.
And I saw some others. I don't know their names.
Oh
Mayor,
no,
but I met them through you.
I know all of their names.
And they weren't smiling.
Of course they weren't smiling. They almost lost their lives that day. No, they weren't laughing about all
They
the.
weren't yucking it up.
They're not. They
Looking
weren't
for the next
laughing
camera.
about all the terrorists they're letting in this country.
Looking at the crowd
So
and
here's the
seeing-
simple fact from a person who probably has more expertise on this than anybody in the useless Biden administration. Our country is more dangerous today than it was on September 11th. There's no question about that because we've had 2 years of nonstop infiltration by Islamic extremist terrorists. And if you think they are not taking advantage of it, if you think they're not taking advantage of the open doors and the open border, then you have no idea about Islamic extremist terrorism. You are an ignorant person. You haven't read history, you haven't read ancient history, and you haven't read modern history. You're a person that is too stupid to have public responsibility, because having public responsibility means having responsibility for the lives of other people. And you should do something else, like stay home all day. But if you don't think they're taking advantage of it, you're too irresponsible to be in public office. Now, some of those people I showed you are actually too irresponsible to be in public office. And some of them are communists, and some of them are just plain evil. And all they care about is money. Mm-hmm. There isn't a good person in that group, not a single one. You got liar after liar. You got Schumer, who walks out on the Jewish people.
Shonda.
He walks out on the Jewish people. You got Bloomberg, who's telling you that Adams is a great mayor. 100,000 illegals in this city, Mike. He invited them. He's got a budget that's so far out of whack, the city is in 5 times bankruptcy. Our kids can't get into school. Sewerage is backing up in Staten Island. I got news for you. He's worse than Bloomberg. He's worse than de Blasio. And remember, you're not going to like this, but you wouldn't be mayor without me. Not a chance in the world, pal. You want to debate me on that sometime? Last time you debated, I don't know, Elizabeth Warren kicked your shit out of you. She knocked you right out of the campaign. What was that? $1 billion for 2 votes?
Yeah, he spent $1 billion
Yeah.
for 2 votes. Yeah.
Pocahontas.
But really, it was your performance at the debate that was really quite inspiring. So maybe you should stay the hell out of politics because your ideas are wacky, and they're getting wackier. I respect the fact that you kept the city safe. I'm starting to think Kelly may have had a lot more to do with it than you now that I listen to you. But I'm not going to take that away from you. But don't tell me you could have done what I did. You know you couldn't have. Not a prayer. Not a prayer you would have turned this city around. Not a prayer. And you proved it with that bullshit with Adams. And by doing that, you extended it and made it worse. And you hurt my city. Not yours. You weren't born here. It's not your city. You never really loved it anyway. I know that. And you know that. You hated the parades. You kept going to London. You're out of the city more than you were in the city. Want me to really take off on you, pal?
He didn't like the parades?
Complained about them all the time. Think he likes people? Very much like Biden.
Why do you run for mayor then, do you think?
He wanted to be powerful.
Ah.
More powerful than money could make you.
Yeah, because his $1 billion.
He wanted to be,
No, this isn't-
don't take too much into this. He wanted to be big.
Well, he's very small.
Well, mayor, because you meet these guys sometimes, right? That it's clear that.
And he wasn't a bad mayor.
No, he's fine.
He was not a bad mayor. Was he a great mayor? Like hell, he was a great mayor. Could he have done what I did? Not a prayer. He would have folded like a cheap suit, just the way he folded in front of Adams, just the way he folded with the big drinks,
Yeah, remember that?
Oh,
just the way he screwed up Rikers Island, Mike.
That's right,
Now,
Mayor. That's
we
right.
blame that on de Blasio.
No,
But want to tell us the truth about it?
it started with Bloomberg.
How
You're
so?
damn right it started with
No,
Bloomberg. I've
it
always
started with
protected him.
Bloomberg. That's
He
right.
screwed up
That's right. That's right.
nanny.
because he's a left-wing sissy.
Because of Mike Bloomberg, Rikers Island, the start of him is what it is today, and then de Blasio just continued it. This is why Rikers Island is violent, and the corrections officers
And
are
we
getting,
left it the safest
That's
large prison
You-
in America.
You and Bernie. That's
Well,
right.
Bernie did.
Yeah,
Not
that's
even
right.
me.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I gave him the...
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you could take a little bit of.
Oh, actually,
Put the right person there, man.
Ma-
Delegating is a big part of the job.
Of course
You
it
know
is.
that.
Mayor, when I met Bernie, he told me a story about Rikers. He said there was like maybe 10,000 stabbings a year when he took over, and then when he left, I think it was down to like 100.
Yeah,
or
he had
something like that.
20,000 people.
Yeah. It was
It's
like
a
down to
privilege.
100.
You see, here's
Yeah,
the difference.
Yeah.
The people that are now stabbing you, beating you, throwing old ladies on the subway, we had them in a place called prisons.
Yeah. Jails.
What are those?
These people don't believe in prisons.
For our non-New Yorkers, Rikers Island, of course, is
bel-
large. Jail? Is it a prison or
Yeah,
jail?
They
so,
believe-
yeah. For
No,
people-
they believe in
right,
making money. That's
so,
what they
so
believe.
for people who
That's what Mike believes in, making money. Making money makes you and allows you to do anything. You can buy the mayoralty, you can buy the presidency. Hey, Mike, you know you got a bad lesson there in buying the mayoralty. You actually didn't buy it. I got it for you. If I didn't endorse you, nobody even remember who you are.
100%.
Your machine. Everybody would be complaining about your machine. But they'd be buying it, you'd be rich as hell,
The Bloomberg terminal.
but they'd be talking about your machine. You weren't winning that election without my endorsement. And here's goes to show you, when you ran for president and you were on your own,
Oh, God.
whoa,
Whoa, did that even happen?
you making DeSantis look good.
Yeah, you really.
Nanny.
$1 billion later and a couple votes in American Samoa. That guy.
He got nowhere.
Yeah.
My parents used to call him Nanny Bloomberg when he tried to ban the Slurpees.
No, you're not going to have any Slurpees in my city. No Slurpees
in my city.
No Slurpees in my city.
You gotta tell
That
us.
was his big thing.
On another night, I want to hear someone mention to me about the
You
ferret.
screw my city, babes, and I go after you, Bloomberg. I put up with it all these years. What you just did is empower a decrepit mayor who's getting people killed. This is not a game, pal. I know you think it's a game because you're so goddamn rich you don't care about people. This isn't a game, pal.
he doesn't even live here. He lives in London, Mayor. He doesn't know what goes on
Let's
here.
go.
Hugging
Right.
that idiot who brought 100,000 people into this city,
Yeah.
women getting raped, people being beaten, the streets looking like crap, and you can't stand up?
Let's play this one clip from Adams. Mayor, I'd love to get your response to this.
Oh boy.
This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
Now, why are we getting 10,000 migrants a
'Cause he
month?
told them to
Nitwit?
come.
Because you asked them to come here.
That's why.
Now, it is true your president lets them in, but there are like 500 other cities they could go to. They used to go to.
Mayor, this is what I ran into. I commute to Port Authority every day in the city, and I ran into someone who looked like he was drugged up. I couldn't tell if
See, Adams, this is your great mayor.
I couldn't tell if he was passed out or if he was dying. So I ran up to the nearest police officer. Who
This is
knows?
your great mayor, Adams.
Yeah.
Well, in
Adams, great mayor, huh? Huh?
Mayor and Mayor Adams, to defend him a little bit. That
Don't
was
get off.
more,
Go walk out of here if you want.
no, that was going.
Stand up and get the hell out
That
of
was
here.
going on since De Blasio. That stuff. That's what I'm saying.
I don't care if it's
Yeah.
going on since De
Yeah,
Blasio.
that stuff's been going on since.
Okay,
De Blasio.
well, that would have been my answer.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
getting
We would have
even
stated
worse.
the
That's-
2,000 murders we had since.
Right.
My answer would have been.
It's getting
There
worse.
were
It's getting worse.
There were 2,000 murders under Dinkins, and it's going to stay 2,000 murders. I mean, after all, this was the same thing as under Dinkins.
It's saying it's getting worse now. That's what I was getting at. That's all.
I mean, it's a common.
Yeah.
You see this? When I was mayor, we would have gone there. If you handed me this same situation right now, this hour, I'm on the phone to Howard Safer. Howard, there's a guy laying out on wherever the hell this is.
Port Authority.
I want to know if he's still there. I'm sending you the picture. Get back to me. Will you be up? You goddamn right I'll be up. You don't think I did that?
I believe you.
And if I didn't get an answer, and very often I would have to get Bratton in a bar.
Oh, boy.
You want the truth about Bratton? Had to get him out of a bar.
And of course, Mayor, another aspect of this, we have some friends here, and folks that want to stay in a hotel, even mid to upper, hotel, Marriott's, Hilton's. Apparently, the prices, because the federal government is buying these rooms and putting migrants in them. These prices for just people that want to come check out New York City are going from $200 a night to sometimes $1,000 a night.
Weddings were canceled.
Weddings had to be canceled.
Weddings were canceled. They wouldn't let people
City's
have
not going to be here in 10 years.
They're destroying it on purpose.
You know, a young taxi driver today must have been about 23, 24. Ted and I were talking in the car, and he realized it was me. And he said to me, and I'm not usually asked this. I'm usually asked this about the country. He said, "Do you think it's going to ever improve?" I thought he was talking about the country. And I said, yeah, 24 is our chance. I mean, I think in 24, you get Trump. Trump can turn this around in a year or two. And he'll do it faster because he now knows a lot that he didn't know before. And to the extent that he'll listen to me, I know a lot more than I didn't know before. It's not just him that didn't realize how bad this is. It's me and many people. No, he said, no, I don't mean the country. I mean the city.
Yeah.
I said, son, I wish I could say something different. I really do.
Yeah.
God, you're going to make me cry if you. No.
It was a powerful moment.
No,
for me.
I don't see it. I don't see it because my citizens are too brainwashed. It was different when I was mayor. I could get them to vote for a decent person who had a decent plan. They gave me a chance, which I appreciated enormously. I won narrowly because they were giving me a chance, and I won by a big landslide because I delivered. I didn't spend $100 million like Bloomberg. I didn't get the endorsement of a mayor who had a 95% favorability rating because people thought he saved the world, and it was exaggerated at the time. I admit that.
You won despite
But he got the benefit of that. I got elected on the merits. Holy man. You know how good it is to get elected on the merits?
Hell yeah.
It's not common.
Not be a Democrat and have people like this idiot who wrote the eulogy for Howard Safer writing all kinds of stuff about you and attacking you for lies.
Well, Mayor, I just read that.
We could change the country. We cannot change the city. We can't change the city. I don't believe. I wish my friend Curtis could win, but and I'm not going to give up. But you want the real truth. I just don't see how these people change their mind. They're too brainwashed. The country, yes. I guess I'm looking at Chicago a year ago, voting for the worst candidate.
But the good guys, they're moving to Florida.
Yeah, well, that's even true. We're losing the voters. The people are becoming immune to it. They're becoming immune to pictures like that. They're becoming immune to old ladies being thrown on subways. Adams tells them, there really isn't more crime. Well, there really is more crime, Adams. And it's actually bolder. It's even a different kind, an even more frightening crime.
Random.
And
Right
the crime isn't even as important as the decrepit condition of your city. Your city is a piece of crap.
Constant smell of
The U.S. Open was a joke. I don't know how long you're going to keep that. The U.S. Open was a joke. It was a U.S. pot open.
Yeah.
Not just pot either. I won't go into the other garbage that was there. Every newspaper, internationally, it was made fun of. I don't know if you read. I'm not sure. But maybe you read newspapers. I don't know. It was made fun of all over the world. The tennis players didn't want to play there because they were getting the marijuana. And marijuana, by the way, Adams, even though you think you're going to get rich on it, is dangerous.
Bad.
It hurts the brains of young people. My God, aren't you doing enough damage to their brains in your ridiculous communist schools? Now you want to convince them marijuana's okay?
They want to usher on the malaise. They want us all to be high. And then they want to tell us, actually, I read this today that apparently companies are now being told that instead of giving quote unquote feedback to their employees, they have to call it feed forward, because giving criticism to people now, telling people, employees, to do better at their jobs, that's triggering. And it's all part of the malaise. Now the mayor wants us all to get high on marijuana. It's all part of the plan. It's
So when Officer Volpe attacked Mr. Lyin, what should I have done? Not set a trap for him and put him in jail for 25 years, but said, well, give him some positive feedback on it. You know, it's good that you didn't use a cannon.
feed forward, Mayor.
Okay, well,
feed
it's
forward.
good that you didn't use a cannon.
Do you know how we used to
Feed
talk to
forward.
each other on the FDNY and Department of Corrections? Feedback, please. these people don't live in the real world, Mayor. You know how city workers talk to each other. We don't. These people don't live in the real world, Justine. I live in the real world. We all in this room live in the real world. So don't listen to that woke
Well,
bullshit.
I'm Gen Z, so this is what my generation has been fed.
But you're really not Gen Z.
I'm-
You're an aberration, my dear.
That's true. I'm
Thank
like on
God. Thank God.
Every day.
It's true. It's being forced on my generation. I'm just very lucky to have good parents and to be in the good graces of the mayor.
No, well, we are very, very fortunate to have you and any number of our supporters. I mean, we've got wonderful people that are supporting us, and we've got wonderful people listening in, and our numbers are getting bigger and bigger, which is important because we got to get the word out. Shall we?
Have another.
Should we?
Yeah. Should we take another commercial break?
Should we take a break, or should we? We're going into big soccer time here.
Yeah.
but-
Oh, Tori. Yeah. Do you want to say hi?
Yeah, I have
Okay. Okay.
I'll share.
No, just say hi on your numbers. All right, so we'll take a quick break and we'll come back. Thank you, Justine, for joining us.
Yeah, you can
Let's
tell us
hear
our
from-
numbers.
Let's hear again from Eric Adams.
This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
Go. All right, and we're back. So we have our friend here, Tori. What if you just want to say a few words, introduce yourself before we sign out? We wanted to give you a chance to say hi.
Hi. I know
Tori, everybody knows Tori. Tori says everybody knows Tori.
I didn't share your links in time. I wanted to say, the mayor has been a proponent in New York, and me being a native New Yorker for many years, I was lucky to be his constituent while he was a mayor. And he has done so much for our state and for our nation, but the city is falling apart.
I know, Tori. I know, and you come back
completely.
and forth here a lot, so you're a good
My
barometer
hometown.
of where it works every time.
It's my hometown. I go back to where I used to play, and it's gone. It's completely gone, and it's terrible. The crime is really high. I mean, even coming out here, I usually stay at my regular place by the favorite food truck I have. He's been there forever, and normally I get that hotel room for like $200. On a high note, 300. It's over 1,000.
Yeah, and for nothing now. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's over
you-
1,000.
You get to pay a lot of money to stay in a dangerous, dirty, unhealthy place.
Yeah, well, that's where we ended up, somewhere in Times Square, which was safer.
I hope you're somewhere nice, Tori. Come on, we can't have you.
We're somewhere good. We're
All right.
somewhere good.
Well, Tori is going to be on again.
Yes.
She's got a lot of stuff to share with us. We got a long night, right? Well, not too long. We'll pick up tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you very, very much for joining in. I want to thank you for tolerating a little bit of my emotion, but when you get around September 11, I'm sorry. I think I'm entitled.
I have a video for you if you'd like to play.
And I don't want people to get away with the stuff these people are getting away with, because I know that it leads to human death and misery. This isn't a game. This isn't a game of billionaires and multi-billionaires and people who want power and people who are perverted human beings. This is about, the safety of human beings, and they're ruining our country. They've ruined our city, my city. But I'd be damned if I'm going to ruin my country. We'll stand up against anybody, anytime, anywhere. And you will too. And these people here will. God bless America.
God bless America.
Our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given common sense. So let's do it.